Good evening, this is Ashtar. It is my endeavor this evening to assist you and to perhaps work a little bit to harness some of this intensification, this intense energy which is present, to assist everyone to open to a more receptivity, more sensitivity to spirit and guidance. We will simply have to fill the vacant seats with our own people, so that you do not feel so alone this evening. So we will have a little bit more intimate gathering, which will be pleasant. I would like to speak about meditation this evening and various related subjects. Meditation and perhaps some tips and guidance. And above all, we will be working to, let me say, escalate your own receptivity and sensitivity to spirit. As the energy of this ascendance grows within each of you and within the planet at large, every day can be a new opportunity to go deeper and to go farther than you have the day before. In fact, it is a constant adjustment on your parts to new guidance and new information, as well as to the old ways that you have been practicing your meditations for however long. For everything that you know and everything that you experience is becoming intensified in the amount of presence, in the amount of energy. You may look out the window at the trees and find that perhaps the trees may seem a little bit more alive today than they did last time you opened up to their presence. Perhaps the clouds have a different emanation to you. Perhaps they seem more alive. Everything is becoming more alive. The planet itself, all of the beings and all of the manifestations. And you can harness this energy. In fact, it is our intention, and I'm sure yours, to harness this energy and put it to maximum use in your lives. So, where to begin? I would say it is good to begin with intention. When you sit to meditate, or when you take a moment in the middle of your day to breathe and focus yourself, what is that which will give you the necessary personal power to blast through the thought patterns and emotional patterns that surround you? It is your intention. Intention is somewhat akin to a willpower, and yet it is a little bit more simple. It is more a simple statement of purpose, whether it is silent or whether it is spoken aloud, or whether it is only the call of your heart. There is a moment of recognition within each of you in your daily lives and prior to your meditations that you feel a desire to experience spirit in a deep way, in a meaningful way, in a transforming way, in a way that will assist you with your ultimate goal of ascension. And your intention in doing this is all important. So I would say, as my first meditation tip, that make a practice of stating, either silently or aloud, your intention and your desire by calling upon the masters, calling upon your own higher selves. Believe me, the manifestation of your own higher self is not a lesser manifestation than that of a Jesus or Ashtar or any of the other angelic hosts. You will learn as you go along that it is very wise to call upon your own higher self, your own God self, your own I Am presence. This can be a rather profound experience. Nevertheless, make your desire known. Connect with the desire in your heart and let it be sincere. So say a little bit of a prayer or an affirmation. This sets the stage. This is like building a foundation or a launching pad. It does more good to sit and state your intention than simply to sit in the meditation position and continue to think or feel what you have been. It is a way of breaking the patterns and calling upon the utmost intensity within you to assist you in focusing. I must make it clear, I must reiterate that you have been doing, some of you, these practices called meditation for a long time. You have been within you working and effectively transmutating, transforming yourselves or allowing yourselves to be transformed. Nevertheless, I am here to state to you that the energy that is manifesting at this time is of a more intensity and is of a deeper nature, let us say, and of a more transforming nature, so that your practice and your beliefs and previous experiences of meditation may be a little bit in need of expansion. Ultimately, your goals, of course, are to manifest ascension from which you will not recover. Yet, in the meantime, as you prepare yourselves, know that any meditation you have, any time that you sit, or even in the midst of your life walking down the street, know that you are somewhat playing with fire at this time. Because what you call upon will manifest now in a very high degree of intensity. So I would suggest that you expand your belief systems around the meditation. Do not look at it as something that gives you a little bit of peace, a little bit of coping with reality. It is time now to make yourselves a new reality. And it is an excellent opportunity to do so now, because soon the, let me say, the intensity of the emotional release and the chaos, apparent chaos of the world, I say apparent chaos, will build to an extent where all of your resources will be required in order to maintain your focus and to feel the peace, feel the love, and feel the light that you have perhaps somewhat taken for granted. Never take it for granted. Always be appreciative of this experience. Accept it with humility. So we are hoping this evening to have a meditation from which none of you recover. By recovering, I mean simply returning to your previous patterns of belief and limitation. It is occurring now with all of you that your old patterns and beliefs and experiences and understandings, ways of existing, are being somewhat shattered, somewhat expanded, and at times this may lead you to feel a little bit up in the air. We have already spoken about balance, and it is all important at this time. Nevertheless, it is for you to give yourselves entirely to this energy in meditation and in focusing yourselves. Only by doing this can you ride upon the waves that are manifesting and maintain the balance and the sensitivity to guidance that will assist you in, let us say, having an enjoyable experience. Many will not be having such an enjoyable experience. You have the opportunity to enjoy yourselves and, in fact, to thrive upon this apparent chaos. For what is chaos to another will to you be extra love and light. This is why we are speaking of this this evening, for the moon is present in its intensity and magnifies the emotional body, magnifies that which is to be released, and in effect it makes it a little bit more challenging to focus. And yet I think you will find that when you do focus, that you can harness this energy in such a way as to give yourselves an incredible leap of consciousness, an incredible blast, let me say. And pretty soon you will not be able to blame the intensity upon the full moon. You will be able to experience it in its waves. And so it is all important for you. Though we have spoken of meditation many times, you will pardon us if we reiterate and speak of it again. It is all important at this time. So, your intention should be stated, and if you feel yourselves aligning with breath and feeling the presence within you, simply give yourself to that breath. Focus upon it. Allow the energy or the guidance to come and take you where it will, let me say. If it is not manifesting in a way to do this, then simply breathe and feel the presence. If you feel the intensity of a mental or emotional experience, as oftentimes is the case, it is not always easy to meditate or to go to the depths that we desire. I will say that affirmations are very powerful, specifically those using the I am. I will give you an affirmation this evening which is quite powerful, which will assist you in your preparation for ascension. This is one of the I am affirmations. It is very powerful. I am the resurrection and the life. Perhaps you could repeat this silently to yourselves. See how it feels to you. So if you, in your practice, you find it difficult to concentrate or you feel yourself drifting, you may use an affirmation such as this: I am the resurrection and the life. I am one with the light. These sorts of things, saying the I am presence, saying I am before the affirmation is very powerful. I am is an affirmation of your own higher self, of your own light body, of your own merging with your light body. Simply to say I am that I am is an incredibly powerful statement at this time. So use these tools. They are for your pleasure and for your focusing. And what will you experience? You have all had so much experience. There is the presence within the heart. There is perhaps an intensification of your experience of the holy breath. If you focus upon your breath, you will feel the presence that is behind the breath, that is, let me say, driving the breath, which is called the holy breath, or the unspeakable name of God. It is not speakable because it is not a word, it is a presence or an energy, pre-existent to speech, the very foundation of the universe. It is within you, each of you, connected to your breath. So I would recommend that you not to be perhaps so eager to leave your bodies. Sometimes in meditation it is perfectly acceptable to be guided to adventures, spiritual adventures. And yet I would say to you that it is very important at this time to simply be present within your body, feel your breath and feel the power that is growing within you, the manifestation of the unspeakable name. For this is the essence of all that exists, and it is within you as it is within all atoms and all of creation. It is your food. It is that which you can exist and thrive upon. It is that most subtle essence. It is where you come from. That which drives all of your processes, that which energizes your existence and your thoughts and feelings. So it is time to get to the bottom of all of those manifestations of yourself and get to the very self. What is the self? This is what is experienced. Difficult to describe. Everyone has to experience it for themselves. The simplicity of this practice of simply breathing and focusing is very powerful. You may even feel the presence or a presence in your meditations. If you call upon the manifestation of your higher self or your light body, you should and will feel a presence within you that is growing. Perhaps it will feel to you like channeling another being coming down from above into your body, some sort of manifestation like this. And it may simply be your own higher self. It may be you merging with your light body, you merging with your higher self. And by practicing this, you can, with patience and perseverance, live from this perspective of being merged with your higher self. This is why we gather in these gatherings and continue to share the experience of what you are. The more often you dip yourself into it, the more it becomes your reality, and your past reality can begin to fade. You need something to replace it with. This is where your higher self comes in. This is where your expansion is required. So there is the presence behind the breath. There is also light. You will feel from time to time in your meditations, as I'm sure many of you have, a magnification of light at your third eye, at your forehead, your spiritual eye, an awakening of your third eye center. And this is how you can see, not with your physical eyes, but with your spiritual eye, your true self and your connection, the light that you are, which is the same as the light of God. So if in your meditations you feel this, perhaps we will do some work with this later to assist you in opening your third eyes. A little bit farther, perhaps. You can never become too open. It is simply to view that experience, to concentrate and focus your attention upwards a little bit. It is not quite the same as looking upwards with your eyes, but there is a concentration of your awareness upwards. And this concentration upwards is generally drawn by the manifestation of the light, the inner light. And upon awakening the third eye center and opening it, you will receive a much more clarity in your guidance. For opening your higher centers allows you to connect more clearly and more profoundly with your guides than you have previously. We have also been discussing channeling a lot lately. Those of you who are experiencing channeling might notice that oftentimes, and generally before you channel, there is an awakening of your third eye center and opening a great deal of light sometimes not, but if you focus upon this area within you, upon this internal experience, you will find it easier to receive guidance. It is something like talking and chewing gum at the same time. Being conscious of your breathing and of viewing the inner light. It takes some practice. But if you can master this, you will find your receptivity and your messages growing in power, and your channeling will become much more directed, let me say. If you are not desiring channeling, I think you are probably still desiring to be able to receive messages from your higher self and from the masters. This is where these practices come in also. Once you are open to receive. So these practices of meditation will sensitize you to spirit and desensitize you to pain and suffering. So what sensitizes you to spirit also acts somewhat as an anesthetic or as a transcendent experience to your emotional experiences and to your thought patterns. So what is available to you in this? This discussion sounds to me rather dry. It does not have the actual experience behind it of what it feels like to be in the state of meditation. It is a rather juicy experience. There is a lot of love there. There is a great deal of exhilaration. In fact, it could be said that there are no two meditations which are the same. So one may look at you and one may ask why you continue to sit in this way in your life. Don't you get tired of doing that? You can answer them that you have not been bored yet because you are experiencing something new and different all the time. The universe is infinite. God's love is infinite. You are infinite. No matter how long you practice this focusing upon spirit, no matter what state of awareness you are, whether you are in the third dimensional world or preparing for ascension, or whether in fact you are an ascended master, it is the same. You will continue to grow. You will continue to grow using these same simple techniques. Of course, after you have ascended, you will have a somewhat different experience. It will be, you will be able to manifest a great deal more presence. You will be able to travel, let me say, within the universe within you. At this point, it is not possible to give you that intense of an experience. We can only share that which you are capable of. But you are learning to relate more to your higher selves than to your limited ego selves. And this is an excellent process you are undergoing. It will serve you well. I will share with you a little bit about my experience of meditation so that you can see why and how this is serving you to go beyond your egos, to identify with your higher selves. When I sit to meditate, I open to my breath and I call upon my higher self. Let me say I merge with it instantaneously. It is the same intention that you have. There is less static, there is less resistance. My intention alone is of such a magnitude that the very thought of meditation, the very thought of connecting, puts me in that state. I'm sure you have all had this experience at one time or another where you simply thought about how you would like to be experiencing your higher self or God or whatever manifestation you label it, and it instantaneously appears in your consciousness. It is something like that. There is the experience that the front part of my body, let me say my face and my features and my frontal manifestation, is here as a somewhat as a how shall I describe this? This is my first attempt at describing my meditation experience to you. Let us say there is a shell of an experience there, or a picture of myself, an energetic or an energetic structure of my features, of my body. While my experience is that behind me and above me, I am experiencing universes and galaxies. So I am feeling that my limited or a physical expression is maintained, yet the vast portion of my consciousness is expanded to the point that is very difficult to describe. Let me say that I am aware behind and above me of a galaxy swirling. I am aware of consciousness throughout many universes. I am aware of the oneness of all, even while I am maintaining somewhat of an experience of a limited expression. But at no time am I identifying with the limited expression. It is there as a reference point for me to return to. It is my choice to manifest this expression so that I can do my service, so that I can do the work that I have given myself to. But my experience of meditation feeds me and serves me in the same way that yours does you. And it is my intention to assist you all, as it is the intention of all of the masters, to take you as far as you can to the highest manifestation of a meditation that you can experience within your physical form. Or let me say, within the illusion of being within your physical form. So you will be finding your lives transforming. You will be finding yourselves feeling a little bit more that life is dreamlike. And it is necessary for you to have a continual experience, or let me say at least a regular, very regular experience of your unlimited self as a frame of reference. So just as I use my meditation practice as my frame of reference, as my spiritual food and sustenance and pleasure and exhilaration and joy, so will you, so do you now, and so will you to a greater extent. It is time to go beyond. Whether you are simply a beginning meditation practice or whether you are an old hand at it, the call to you is the same. It is time to go beyond. There is no limit to what you can experience within yourselves. And there is no higher perspective that you can achieve than to be inside and within yourself. You are from time to time drawn under the tutelage of the masters into various experiences. Sometimes you may be aware you are being lifted and taken to another etheric realm, perhaps to the ships, perhaps to another world, perhaps to one of your master's drawing rooms. These experiences, I'm sure, have and will be continuing with you as you give yourself to the process. Yet these occur only as instruction for you, only for specific purposes. The goal of your awakening is to connect with your own divinity, with your own self, which is the self of God, the Atman. So I am telling you that you can experience incredible depth and amounts of light and presence. You can experience oneness with God. You can experience enlightenment. the merging of yourself with your higher self or God. All of this can be experienced by you prior to your ascension. It has been experienced by many beings. So we will do a little bit of meditation, it seems appropriate. Let us just breathe together briefly. Oh, my dear ones. It is time, as we have said, for you to learn of your own magnificence and of your own power and of your own ability to go beyond into higher realms of experience and greater depths of love and expansion of love within your own hearts. We have been working and continue to do so this evening with your receptivity, the opening of your higher centers and your heart center, and increasing your ability to perceive, opening your channels, opening the receptors within your own brains and your own higher chakras to strengthen your connection. So, it is difficult for me at this moment to speak. I am feeling such love. But I offer myself to you for any questions you have. Let me say that I put myself at your disposal this evening out of love, and I am experiencing so much love for each of you. It is as if I am experiencing and being allowed to experience the love of the Creator for each of you, which is profound. From this vantage point, I offer myself, if you have questions concerning meditation, if you have questions of any sort, please consider this a time for us to share together. I am here to benefit you in any way I can. If you desire, you may simply continue your meditation. But know that it is a blessed evening, and you are receiving blessings. We have succeeded in our attempt to harness this energy and focus it. So what questions might you have this evening?
I have a question. a lot of spiritual seekers are attracted to Mount Shasta. And if you could say something about that place and about the energies there and what's going on there that attracts us to that place.
You mean what attracts you to that place? I am being facetious again. Well, let me say that Mount Shasta is a place where the purity of the Creator's manifestation is quite profound. There is an etheric presence there of spirit which is cleansing to the atmosphere surrounding the mountain and a cleansing to all who enter the aura of the mountain. It is a place of magnetizing and magnification of the higher self. It is also because of these, because of this purity and this presence, it is a retreat of the Ascended Masters also. So there is in existence within the mountain, beneath the mountain, chambers and halls created by the Ascended Masters, where they can gather and have their meetings and meditations, and take refuge and take comfort and company in one another's presence. It is a focal point of Ascended Master activity. There are many wonders therein. Perhaps one day, if you are fortunate, you will be allowed to enter. Few beings have been, prior to their ascension, allowed to enter and have spoken of what they have experienced. But know that regardless of whether you are blessed enough to be guided into the internal aspects of the mountain, that you do receive upon entering that area a great deal of purification and blessing, and it is much easier to feel the presence of your higher self. You might say that the higher you go upon the mountain, the more powerful the manifestation, the more pure the energy. That is the vortex point of this particular mountain is most pronounced from the upper half upwards. So if you can get to an elevation of 7,000 feet or higher, the energy is more intense. Nevertheless, the entire area is blessed.